Recording in progress.
All right. This is from, oh dear, what's his name? Foster. What is his name? I'm having... All right. I've had a few little emotional waves come through. Christmas was a bit challenging at times. And I'm going to share this with you. I know it may fit for some, for sure. The turbulence of healing.
Jeff Foster.
Did you say something, Jim? What's going on here?
I thought of his name. It was Jeff.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Healing from trauma, which I am defining here as chronically suppressed emotion, can sometimes feel like going through severe turbulence on a night flight. When you're squished down, grief, terror, shame, and rage decide to break through the ego's defenses and surge into conscious awareness. When you start to unfreeze and contact the raw and inconvenient truth of what's inside you, it can feel disorienting, uncomfortable, can feel unsafe and unnatural, can feel like you've lost control, can feel like it will never end and you'll be stuck in darkness forever. But the turbulence is perfectly safe and normal and healthy, and it will pass, and your flight will arrive at its destination, and you will heal. In the midst of the turbulence of emotion, it's easy to get lost in thinking and fantasy, in fast-forwarding the movie, leaving the present and imagining the future. This is too much. It's going to get worse. I'm going to die. Something is going horribly wrong. I am broken. I need to get off this damn flight. But emotional turbulence is not a sign of your failure or brokenness. Just as actual turbulence on a flight is not a sign that you have gone off course, or the pilot has lost control, or the airplane is broken, or the destination is now impossible to reach. Emotion is always safe, even if it sometimes feels unsafe in its intensity. The body can be trusted absolutely. Intensity is not inherently dangerous. Planes are built to withstand even the most extreme turbulence. And so you learn to breathe through the discomfort and lean into the rawness of the moment. And this is how even the deepest trauma is ultimately healed. Through love, through deep acceptance, through faith, through penetrating even our most profound discomfort with a loving awareness, through coming out of our minds, out of our futures, and into our present bodies. Trust the turbulence, friend. It means you're already soaring. So let's land. What a beautiful way to begin the day and continue our lives. To stop. Maybe to take a couple of deep breaths. To feel the lungs and the chest stretch out. To take the posture of our awakening. This posture right here, right now. And to notice the fact of a living body. It's a constant symphony from the body. The coolness in feet and legs, perhaps. the pressure of the buttocks against the cushion of the chair. The remarkable life in the hands and thumbs and fingers. The life of the face. And notice the breath. This closest friend of a lifetime, coming and going. The breath is like waves or the tide. It comes to fullness. It declines and disappears. And it breathes itself If you ever discover that there's some controlling of the breath, simply put it aside completely and take up the practice of mindfulness of sound. Sounds come and go at their own pace. Of course, mindfulness of breathing reveals the thinking mind. Thoughts also come and go in their own accord. We are often visited by the 5 hindrances. A mind that wants something, it's leaning into the future, wanting something. Or it's pushing against what's happening now, disliking. Or we're lost in restlessness and agitation, worry. Or we're caught up in sloth and torpor, dullness, the mind thick and heavy, low energy. Or perhaps doubt, conflicting belief systems. Am I doing the right thing? And where do these occur? They occur in consciousness. And somehow, mysteriously, we cultivate mindfulness, awareness of the present moment, such that in the midst of the most intense wandering mind, in the midst of a doubt attack, in the midst of liking or disliking or restlessness, it's as if the lights come on and we realize, oh, this is restlessness. This is wanting, this is craving, this is desperately lusting after something. And then it's possible to simply take up the breath again. It's possible to imagine the breath as being like a hammock. We come across a hammock in a beautiful sunny summer afternoon. It's in the shade, there's a little breeze. And we climb in and rest. So it is with the breath. We can climb in and rest. Sometimes we are captured by a trance for some time. It could be seconds or a minute or minutes. But then we've made this intention to be mindful. And somehow, spontaneously, the trance state is over, and here one is again. Here I am. I'm awake. And then we pick up the next breath. We watch it in its miraculous blossoming out of nowhere. The truth of anicca, of impermanence, is constantly blazing at us. As Ajahn Buddha Dasa put it, with the brilliance of 1,000,000 suns. Let's notice that a breath begins. It really does begin. It doesn't exist, and then it does. It exists to fullness, to decline, and then to vanishing. Thoughts arise. Mindfulness vanishes. Or maybe thoughts arise and mindfulness persists. And they're seen as thoughts. Sometimes they can be seen as not personal, just thoughts. Thoughts with no one thinking them. And so we rest back into the present moment. With this breath, with these thoughts.
My name is Sam, and I'm the family dog. Lie around.
Sounds come and go. In-breathing and out-breathing, and nothing to achieve. What a trip that is, to think you've already arrived. There's no need to improve the self. There may be discomfort. If we sit long enough, there certainly will be. One of the reasons we sit still is to allow awareness to encounter what's really happening. To not move away from discomfort instinctively. And when discomfort or pain persist, we put aside the breath and we do something totally counterintuitive, which is to turn toward the pain. To get as close as we can, to be as intimate as we can. To notice the thoughts that occur in conjunction with pain. To notice the anxiety or the panic or the pressure to change position. And yet we simply sit still in the middle of the experience. We learn in time to bear the unbearable, what was previously unbearable. In so doing, we learn to live our lives with much more grace, much more wisdom. And when we can, we return to the breath, to this moment of being right here. And part of the art of meditation is learning through experimentation. How, quote, hard should I try to stay with the breath? If we try too hard, we're tense. We're tensing muscles even. If we don't try hard enough, we're slack and the mind goes all over the place. So somewhere in between there, it's like tuning a stringed instrument. It's just the right amount to be in harmony. And so we experiment. One breath at a time. And co-arising with mindfulness is love, loving kindness, unconditional positive regard. In love, there's room for everything. And as we practice, we can remember this simple mantra: I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. When I'm hurting, no matter how I'm hurting, even the most subtle of suffering, I intend to hold myself in sweet compassion. The breath breathes itself and provides an anchor, a point of reference. Somehow, with mindfulness and curiosity and concentration, and the other enlightenment factors, it becomes clearer and clearer that thoughts think themselves. Moods are the inner weather. And it's possible to rest back into the present moment. Right here, right now. May all beings, including our loved ones, our friends, those with whom we have conflict, may all beings, beings of all kinds, those who fly in the air and climb in the trees and burrow in the trees and burrow in the ground, and run on the ground and slither on the ground and walk on the ground. May those who swim in the waters, fresh and salty, and everyone in between, all my relations, may all beings share in the merits of our practice. And in a few moments with the gong, it'll be time to open the eyes. But let's do it mindfully. Notice the life in the eyes, the area of the eyes, and then the intention, and then the effort, and then the emergence miraculously of seeing. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. And of course, there's no reason to stop being aware just because we're not sitting quietly, just because our eyes are open. It's the same thing. Funny, I just had an old memory pop to mind. How do they come? Where do they come from? I went to see Ruth one time. It was hot summer. This was a one-of-a-kind event in my relationship with her over 42 years. She picked me up in the airport in Palm Springs, and we drove up that horrible road up to the Morongo Valley, up into the high desert, and dangerous road, boy. So there we were climbing up the Morongo Valley, and we went through one of the little towns, and she saw a bar on the side of the road and said, "Let's stop for a drink." And so she was driving. She pulled in, and we went in, and it was wonderfly cool, cold even. And then we each ordered something, And then it was like, I don't know. I don't know what it was like, but it was, every moment of it was, are you having any effect? What are you noticing now? Let's stop and breathe for a little while. And it was this wonderful exploration of the beginnings of inebriation with Ruth, of all people. And so I guess why that comes to mind just now is everything we're doing is appropriate for practice, no matter what. Some big disappointment comes along, and how is that? Some great success happens, and how is that? And we have in our formal practice a kind of baseline. It's like this. I'd like to just remind Kendall's teaching. This next Sunday night she's teaching, and check the website. Am I correct with that, Jim? I think so. Hard to keep it straight. Check the calendar, please. Not you, Jim.
Yeah, it's the first Sunday. And
Okay.
next Sunday is the second day of 2022.
Great. And please check the website for Kendall's other teaching. There will be a New Year's Eve celebration. I'm not sure if there's something on the web yet. I think there is something in the digest. From 9 till 11, till 12:15, Gary Sanders and I will be doing it. And we'll have a refuge ceremony at midnight and some reflections on this last year and some invitations for grief and letting go and for aspiring for the future. And on the night of the 4th, 7 o'clock, there will be I'll be playing on Audible, on a Zoom link, Joan Gideon's book, The Year of Magical Thinking, read by Vanessa Redgrave, and it's really quite something. So I invite you to join for that. And there's much more happening at PIMC. Opening will be sometime around the middle of January. It appears. We run into a few glitches here and there. And the city won't issue the permit to re-enter the building, to start using it again until all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Even Picayune things. Maybe especially Picayune things. So, what's happening with you folks today? Anything you'd like to share? Thanks for coming back camera-wise. That's nice to see more of you.
Morning, Robert. Morning, Thanga.
Where are you?
Sherry. I'm up here in the dark.
Hi, Sherry. Oh, I see you. Okay, good.
Yes, good morning. I just wanted to share my interesting experience after making a Christmas dinner, a large Christmas dinner for my youngest son and his family. And everyone went to bed, and I felt rather strange. I thought there's something wrong with my gut, and it took a couple of hours. I slept, and then I woke up, and I thought, there's something wrong. It's just, I don't feel right. So it wasn't very long before I thought, I think I'm going to be sick. And so I swung my legs over the side of the bed to stand up, and my whole body felt like jelly. It felt like if I put my weight on my feet, I am going to fall right down. But I managed to stand up and stagger into the bathroom, and my first thought was, I may be dying. I better focus. I need to stay conscious. And it was startling, absolutely startling. That was the first thought that came to my mind before I exploded and managed to get rid of everything, but it took an hour and a half. And then my son, I think, who was sleeping upstairs, must have heard me and came downstairs to see if I was okay. But I was quite startled, and I thought there's been a big shift, I think, obviously, in my thinking, my feeling, entirely around death. I have had the feeling that death is sitting on my shoulder quite often, I think, just because of my age and the fact that after my husband and my daughter died within a year and a half, and I was quite depressed for quite some time, but very conscious of how deeply that had affected me and how I should be preparing for my own death. So yeah, there's been a big change. Thank you for that. I know it's come mostly from the teaching.
Thanks for sharing, Sherry. Interesting how that thought, I may be dying, comes spontaneously. And then I want to be awake. Quite interesting.
Yes, I was quite surprised.
Well, I'm glad you're still here.
Oh, me too. So yesterday I was struggling to be here because of the internet issues that I got through on the phone so I could hear you.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Good morning, Robert. It's Joe.
Hello, Joe.
I had a very nice thing happen yesterday, besides the beautiful snowy weather, because it's been snowy and there's enough that it's carpeted everything, and then the sun would come out and everything's bathed in light, and then the clouds would roll in and snow would fall, and you're back in the snow globe. And I noticed that the deer were coming by a particular apple tree, just checking in the morning. And so yesterday I went out and I shook the tree so that some of the apples that are still hanging that I'd like to leave for the birds would come down. And last night, in the middle of the night, I had to get up, and there's a small moon, so there's just enough light to make out shapes. But I could tell that there were at least 4 deer around the apple tree in the middle of the night, eating the apples that I shook down for them in the middle of all the snow. And it's just a warm Christmassy feeling, you know, when you find yourself able to do something like that and be in tune with it and then see it happen. And it's just kind of this feeling of life is in balance. The path is good. I'm in good company, and it's a good day. So
Thanks,
I wanted
Joe.
to share that. You bet.
Morning, everyone.
Hello, Anna.
Hi. I just wanted to share about my experience this holidays because it's been hard the last couple of years with my family because of siblings issues, not forgiving themselves and stuff like that. So it's just been hard, especially for my mother, who has to deal with it. Because then she feels that it's where do I spend the holidays? Where do I go? And every year it's a battle. And I myself have been guilty of putting her on the spot with that, you know, trying to find. But whose fault is that? Like, so if it's not this fault, you shouldn't be penalizing this person. But this year was different. This year, I let it go. I don't know for how long I'm gonna, but I know, I know for the time. I try to be conscious about my feeling overall, my emotions, and just thinking about dukkha and how that brings suffering. You know how dukkha, not letting go, that keep coming to my mind, and I just practice it. Like, okay, that's not for you to hold on. If if your mom wants to come over for the holiday, she will come over. You don't have to push her into doing what you want. Your kids going to dad's or going to my house, and all this was such a different approach that I took this year with my kids and my mom. For the first time, I feel like I didn't want to cry because I always ended up either wanting to cry or somebody was really upset. Um, and it was fine for me because I felt at peace. However, I noticed that for the rest of the family, they were confused. My kids were confused. It's like, hey, my daughter, what do you mean, mom? Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Like, I will come over if that's what make you happy. I'm like, no, no, you're not hurting my feelings. I mean, if you want to come, I'll be here. If you want to come tomorrow, I'll be here. It's like, what do you want to do? And she's like, oh, I'll come over tomorrow then. I'm like, okay. And she came and we didn't discuss why were you not here on Christmas. None of that. So it was really good. And my mom the same. When she came, she actually asked. She's like, oh, so what time are we having dinner? I'm like, oh, okay, at this time. Um, why don't you come and pick me up? I'm like, sure. So it wasn't me pressuring anybody on wanting things to go my way because I always have this image of how I want Christmas Eve to be and Christmas Day. And I push my family to fit that image. And it's like now I'm like, no, it's okay. What you want to do, I'm fine. So that was a different way of doing things. And it felt really good to me. I don't know how my family's probably thinking something weird is happening with me because they're not used to it, but we'll see what comes out of it. For now, as I continue to learn, I will continue to do and share with them, what I'm experiencing. But I just wanted to share that great feeling of not having that suffering hit me during the holidays, like every year. Thank you for listening.
Yay! You just reminded me there's a little quote from Ajahn Chah where he said, let go a little, be happy a little. Let go a lot, be a lot happy. Let go completely and know the happiness of the Buddha. That's a big step. I know that one from the inside with divorce and where will the kids go and where will they have dinner and what about the night before, which is my birthday, blah, 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 blah. But then, so congratulations. May it persist and grow. Free at last, free at last. I'm just reflecting. It's kind of fun in a certain weird way to see how confused people become when you're not being predictable. You do what you want. I'd love to see you. Yeah. I got you, Jim. I infected you with a yawn. I'm going to try to share something with you, which occurred at our house on Christmas Day, and I think of it as Christmas cheer. The sound is important. Would you let me know if the sound works, Jim? You got sound? Jim?
Yes.
The
Okay.
the sound is too low for the voices in the background.
Oh, that doesn't matter. The dogs are the point.
Okay.
This is a loving Christmas morning.
Dobby, stop with the lip. You're gonna add some drama. Look at their noses. Oh my god. They're giving the eye. Oh my god. What the hell is wrong with that?
Dobby is our dog. Charlie on the left is my daughter's dog, and he's much bigger than Dobby. He's completely unperturbed. But I was watching this thinking, oh, it's Christmas morning. We're all happy. We're sharing our toys.
The younger one never snarled. That was interesting.
He is of a very mild temperament. Charlie actually was raised. We bought him in Tara bought him in Iowa. We flew to Iowa to get him a year ago now, or a little less than a year ago. And he's from a long line of service dogs. They raise service dogs. And he's a very calm dog. Boy, he can get excited, but he just drops into calm. He's a meditator. Well, friends, anything else you'd like to share on this 27th day of December?
just got a text from my Tai Chi student saying, "Are you coming today?"
Ah,
So I can best get my windshield wiped off and get on down the road. Thank you very much.
all right, Jimbo.
Have a good
See
day.
you soon. Oh, there's something in the chat from Leanne. I knew next to nothing about Joan Didion. Recently watched and enjoyed the Netflix documentary The Center Will Not Hold about her life. Wow, I'm going to watch that before the 4th. The Center Will Not Hold. Huh. Oh boy. Where will I write it? Right here. Okay, friends. Shall we go out on a song? Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. All right. Oh, there's a phone.
I'll get it.
You ready? Please unmute. Let's all see if we can have a phone call. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
Goodbye, dear friends. Have a lovely day. Be careful if you go sledding.
Thank you, Robert.
Right. Thank you.
Robert. Love
Thank you
Sherry.
all.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay well.
Two.
So long, lovely friends. Take care. Prepare for the leap to hyperspace.